Hello, and welcome to the Modern Romantic Podcast, where we celebrate romanticism through art, storytelling, and nature, music, poetry, creating, and passionate people doing incredible things. Hello, I'm the lonely little brain cell. I'm
Aww.
Trey, and
That's some
tonight
good
I'm
info.
joined. I'm joined by the tiny tardigrade Snuggles, aka my co-host Emily. Hi, Emily.
Hola.
Hola, we have now switched over to the Spanish podcast. If you're watching live right now, you need to go listen to our other episodes. They are available on all the best podcast outlets, but I don't rule your life. You do you, boo. Just look for us under Modern Romantic. Or you can visit our website at themodrom.com and click podcast up at the top. If you didn't know by now, hi, we're really cool. You should come listen to us more often. And we also live stream all of our interviews, and you are cordially invited to join us. Interact with our guests every Monday night at 7 p.m. Central Time. Visit twitch.tv/The Modern Romantic to follow us and subscribe. And don't forget to follow us on social media. We also invite you to share us with a friend and loved ones and everybody in between. Tonight, we have a very special guest with us. Emily, would you like to introduce our wonderful guest tonight?
Of course I would. First of all, I have to say, you sound so much like Kermit when you said hi like you did. Kermit the Frog. Yeah.
You have to flail.
Very Muppety. Yeah, you have to really flail. So tonight, we're chatting with Amy Danielson from Bold Oracle Studios. She's organizing a really cool festival called Living Myth Legend Fest that's happening in Wisconsin. You can learn more at boldoracle.com. And anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Amy Danielson. I'm sorry, I screwed it up. Ladies and gentlemen, Amy Danielson. It's not even that hard to say. I'm so sorry. Yay, Queen of the Fae, Amy Danielson.
The crowd goes wild. Yay! I'm super happy to be here. This is cool.
Thanks for
I've
coming.
never been on a podcast before, I don't think.
Oh.
Maybe I was. I don't know. I don't think so, though.
You have a friend with you, I see.
I have a friend. Oh, yes. This is Ron it's RHON, as in like Rhonda.
Okay.
We thought she was a boy when she was a little baby, and now obviously she is not.
Ron is a black and white cat.
Yes.
Aww.
A little
wonderful.
tuxedo cat.
Little camera shy, I see.
Yes, she's leaving. She's
And-
decided that my boyfriend is her boyfriend also, so
Oh.
we share.
Well, that's good. They get along.
Oh my gosh, she's totally in love with him. She like sticks her nose into his armpit. That's her way of cuddling him.
Oh, that's a strange one, though.
It is a little strange. She's a weirdo.
Ron.
Before we get started, I keep seeing your mug, and I would like to know what is on your mug.
Okay, so there's this musician in Mankato named Ocho, and we got this at his whatever when he was playing somewhere. So that's his mug. So a little shout out to Ocho. It's got lipstick on there, nice.
So, Mankato, Minnesota.
Mankato, Minnesota. I live near there, about a half an hour from there.
Okay.
So
That's
pretty far.
awesome.
I live 2 hours from where the festival is going to be held, actually.
Oh,
Yeah, I
wow.
do too. Well, wait, you're talking about Run in the
Legend
Glen
Fest.
territory.
Yeah, Run in the Glen is also a festival that already happened this year, but it happens every year, and it's really fun. It's a Renaissance festival there. It's like only one weekend per year, and the Glen is so beautiful, like ridiculously beautiful. And after 10 years of just having Run in the Glen, he really wanted to start opening it up to other festivals and maybe weddings and things. So he asked me to do. Well, I had already had an idea to do Living Myth, but I was going to do it 10 minutes from my house. But the Glen is so much better, and they have an established audience. So I thought, well, it would be really fun. So I thought, why not? I will do it. when
So
he asked.
where is that? That's in Wisconsin, right?
Yeah, it's in Downing, Wisconsin. It's the tiniest place ever. And the weird thing is my dad grew up around there. But it's right in the middle of nowhere. It's 20 minutes from Menominee.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's that's the closest town, really. I mean, there's teeny towns close by that might have a bar and a restaurant if you're lucky, but
As
that's it.
Wisconsin is, right?
Yeah, that's how it is.
More bars than churches in Wisconsin.
Yep.
I don't know if that's true. I'm sorry if that's incorrect.
No,
Someone will write in and be like, "You're wrong."
right. I've experienced that a lot in a lot of towns. There's like at least 3 or 4 bars. Even I grew up in a 900-person town, and
Wow.
I think there's at least 3 bars all the time.
Yeah. I lived near it was in Wilson, Wisconsin, which is kind of near River Falls. And that's near Menominee as well. We would go to Menominee all the time for groceries and everything because that was the closest to anything. And it's super rural. That's where, like, in the warmer months, you'd see a bald eagle soaring in the air, like, every day.
Yeah.
Because
totally.
it's just way out there and they're not bothered.
There's
They're
bears.
disturbed. Yeah. The wildlife is really cool.
It is. They're everywhere. So when we were at the Glen, I went there on this past Friday, to scope out where all the ferries are going to be, because there's going to be, I have like this huge army of volunteers that it's so cool. Like
That's awesome.
I kind of had a hope that would happen, but I didn't expect quite what's happening. It's really neat. So people are signing up to be fairies, and they each have their own identity as a fairy. It's so cute. And like so for instance, Kitty is I don't think that's going to be her fairy name, but anyway, she's the girl who's on the Legend Fest posters and like the banner on Facebook.
Okay.
So she's going to be, what did she say? Oh, I think she's going to do origami luck stars, teach little kids how to make luck stars, and then they get to take their little luck star home. And we're situating each fairy like underneath a tree or a group of trees.
Okay.
So the whole festival grounds it's a glen, so it's, dipped like a little valley, tiny valley. And then there's woods on all sides, and except for one side is a cornfield. And tiny little bits of trees. So it was interesting because when I went there, I realized the trees were traditional, like they're hawthorn and magical trees that in the Celtic tradition are considered magic. And hawthorn is a big deal in like a lot of fairy stories and everything. So most of them are hawthorn. So I just thought that was very interesting. Kind of a little detail.
Sounds perfect.
It's beautiful.
So I looked on Facebook, and Living Myth Legend Fest has an event on Facebook. So it's Saturday, September 24th from 12 p.m. to 9 p.m., which is not typical festival hours.
And the reason is I really wanted a bonfire.
Oh, yes.
Yeah?
I love that.
Yeah, so we reserved like the last 2 hours just for a big bonfire because I know a lot of performers in the area, and there was quite a few who wanted to do a little fire performance. And so they're going to do that as soon as it gets dark enough. And then anyone who knows how to dance, which is a lot of the fairies and the performers that are going to be there. So they're welcome to dance around the fire. And we have a lot of musicians too on board that might just kind of do that. Or it might be quiet conversation. But no matter what it is, there's going to be apple cider and hot cocoa. So I'm extremely excited about that.
That is exciting to me too. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I was kind of upset to find out when it was because I'm actually scheduled to be out of town that weekend, and I don't think I can be there. But I'm going to try anyway. We'll see what happens. That's a big conflict, but I'll figure it out.
Maybe you can send a spy to see if An
Send a
emissary.
spy. Like, can I be in two places at once? Maybe. I'll just plan my out of town to include that area of the country.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Or
so they had when they had Ren in the Glen, we were the fairy court. It was a new thing this year. So they asked me to be a part of it, and I created the fairy court, like the high court. And so it was just really fun. It was very hot, but it was really fun. And then but we pulled it together really quickly. So I think that's why Corey wanted me to do this. He was like, wow, maybe she can organize this. We'll see.
I mean, it sounds like you've got so much done already.
Yeah,
In
a
fact,
lot of it's done.
Because of
The
that
marketing, not
conflict.
so much, though.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over the top of you. Say that again.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say I need to finish my marketing plan and get that moving a little faster, but the volunteers are going, like a lot of performers. I sent out a call for musicians today. So if you are a musician, hop on the social media thing, and if you want to be a part, we could check you out. What else? We got food vendors, we got regular vendors, so there'll be all kinds of fairy related things to buy, and I don't know, it just sounds like the most fun day ever to me.
It does. It says workshops, shopping, stage shows, food trucks, magical characters, and now a bonfire.
Yes.
Hi, Kaz.
hi, Kaz.
Hi, Kaz. Kaz says musician. Yes, we need musicians. If you go on the Facebook event page, you will see it. Probably. Why would we not need a harp, right? He says someone need a harp.
Yeah, Kaz. Kaz is you play the harp, don't you? Is that what that was? Are you giving away a harp?
So yeah, right.
Kaz knew about Stephanie Clausen, who we met at the Minnesota Renaissance Festival when she was 12. Well, I met her.
Oh, cool.
And we had her on the show a few weeks ago. I do. Yeah, I thought you did. My harp stays with me. Yeah, I would never take that from you. That's like precious.
Right. Well, if you have some videos and things like that, go ahead and send them to me. Do you want, hey, tiny tardigrade snuggles, would you like me to find the URL?
You can definitely call me Emily.
For them. Can I go off of this page and still be doing this?
I think so. I posted board
Oracle.
Just
old Oracle.
Just start this whole podcast over. I have messed up your name and your website now. So, I'm so sorry.
Okay, so if you want to apply to play there, go to the link that she put on the chat, boldoracle.com, and it'll be obvious there.
I'm sorry, I'm losing my mind. I'm also, maybe it's because of all the tardigrades.
I think
there.
Oh, God. Sorry.
Oh, now Nightbot decides to kick in and be active. Okay, cool.
Well, there we go.
I was like, I posted it myself because Nightbot wasn't doing anything in the chat, and I was like, I guess it's broken tonight. It's not the first time.
Yeah.
It would not be a podcast night if we didn't have at least one technical issue. Tonight, that technical issue is definitely me. All it took was Kaz to pop in. Kaz, you missed it because when I was introducing Amy, I said I messed up Danielson. I don't know how anymore or why. I blocked it already, but I know I messed it up. I'm so sorry.
Words.
I'll be over here.
Yeah.
I don't know how far away the venue is. I will be honest. I have been in the South for a very long time. Right now I live right outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. So I don't know the landscape of Wisconsin or Minnesota all that well. How far away is Madison, Wisconsin?
pretty far.
Okay.
Madison
Yeah.
is southeast from where it is by at least an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Is that it? I thought it was
Trying to
farther than that.
remember how long it used to take me to drive through there, because I used to live
Well, that's not bad at all.
near the Bristol Renaissance Festival in Chicago. Well, that's in Kenosha, near Kenosha. I used to live near Chicago, and I would drive up and then drive through Wisconsin to come to Minnesota Renaissance Festival. And
Right.
then I
You
moved
just
up.
went on the tour, the grand tour.
Yeah, I used to do the couch tour, and I'd sleep on someone's couch and go to the festival.
That's pretty fun.
It was. Those were the days for sure. Hauling garb. Where is Madison from Chicago? Madison, Wisconsin is west of Chicago. Madison's closer to the middle of Wisconsin. I'm looking it up right now.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I asked is
Sorry.
was there's a pretty prominent music school that's down there. I'm not sure if it's like just vocals or if it also includes instrumentalists. But there might be someone who is down there that's also into Ren Fair, that might be looking to apply
Yeah,
or
that'd be
perform.
cool.
Okay, so Madison is directly west of Milwaukee. Madison isn't as close to the middle of the state as I remembered. Madison is in the middle if you're looking right to left. It's center this way, but it's at the lower half of the state.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a nice little hike.
Yeah.
That's fine. They just need to take some cheese with them on their hike. It'll be fine.
But there isn't that
Some cheese.
many fairy festivals, or like,
Right?
I mean, there's even fairy festivals. There's quite a few, but just magical creature festivals, I haven't seen tons. So there's some, but not a lot. So if it's really your thing, it might be worth it.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
I've only been to one fairy festival, and it was in Cornwall, England.
Oh, cool.
And it was
How did that go?
put on by Karen Kay, who runs Fae magazine.
Yep, I know her.
And she she was I mean, we got to chat with her, which was cool. Yeah, because they get like Brian Froud and Wendy Froud out there, and
you know what? I could have sworn I saw him at Ren in the Glen, and I'm like, no way.
Wouldn't that be something?
Be across the ocean. Like, why would he be, here without saying something? But anyway,
he's like the maybe he's like the what's his name? Oh, it's escaping me. It's gonna kill me. Bill Murray. He's like the Bill Murray or like Tom Hanks. He'll like
yes,
pop up at somebody's fairy wedding because like
he'll just be like, they'll never believe you.
Right. Like that would totally be me if I was famous. I would be like, and I was known for a certain thing. I would totally just go immerse myself in those real life situations and surprise people. I think that'd be so cool.
That would be cool.
Kaz said, every podcast I learn something new about Emily or a new adventure Emily has done. Like, what hasn't Emily done, right?
I have purposefully lived a very full life because I don't stop moving. And also I don't stop talking, which is why you've heard all of this. Yeah.
Well, Emily and I could be talking, and Kaz, I'll echo your sentiment for this. Emily and I could be talking, and she'll just drop a random new, like, fact about her, and I went, what?
Just, a random new fact about me?
Yes. Like, you'll tell me a new story that I haven't heard, and I'm like, how have you not told me this?
Like I said, I've lived a very full life. Like, the pandemic actually was so slow for me that I was like, I don't know how to do this life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really stir crazy. To answer your question, Kaz, Chicago is an hour and a half from Madison. But I just did like a middle of Chicago to the middle of Madison. Oh no, I did Milwaukee. What's wrong with me? I thought I took Madison. These questions are important. Helps if you spell Madison correctly. It is 2 hours and 15 minutes away. We need a what button for when I drop new info. I do. I have a ton of stories. I've lived so many lives. You know, you've seen that movie Chocolat with
Yes, that is my favorite.
it's one of my
Yes.
favorites too. And she
Yes.
has this thing where she's like she's kind of gypsy like, and she says, well, when the east wind blows or something, about every few years she just has to go. And
Yeah.
I could relate to that. I
Yeah,
haven't.
me too.
Have you too? Where you're like, you
I
know
mean,
what? It's time for a life change. It's been 5 years. It's been 3 years. Time to move on.
you're right.
One day, Trey, we should just interview Emily. We tried doing that once. We tried like talking to each other, interviewing each other. And we learned that however long we do this podcast is not enough time to do that. We're like, so what do you do? I like to color. I'm sorry. I don't want this to be about me, though, because we're here with Amy. We'll talk.
Yes.
Kaz, we'll talk later. Just an Emily day. Okay.
That
Weird,
would be
but
cool.
okay.
So Amy, I do have to ask, since you are going to be, I'm going to call you the coordinator, the founder, the head fae, the queen fae of this festival. So I do have to ask, what is going to be, who or what will you be dressed as for this upcoming festival?
I'll
Ooh.
be dressed as a fairy for sure. Yeah. I mean, maybe next year I'll just be a witch or something. That'd be awesome. But I'm gonna do. I make headdresses like, and it's funny that we were talking about Brian Froud because he's my favorite artist. Don't tell my mom that she's also an artist, but she's my second favorite. Okay, but anyway,
That's great.
so I always say that my headdresses are very Freudian, and people laugh at me like it's a Freudian slip. But anyway, so but they're big and full of twigs and stuff. They're not like the normal. They have flowers in them, but they're more meant to be look like you're just part of the forest. Like rather than them being, look at me, I'm pretty girl with flowers around my head. It's more like just a natural part of the fairy's body almost is what I'm trying to get them to look like.
Okay.
So I'll probably be wearing a headdress like that. And then I don't know. I haven't figured out the rest because I'll have great big huge wings though.
Sweet.
Yeah, they're kind of greenish. They glimmer in the light. And I figured out a new way to make them because there's these, you know, that, what is that called? Cricket or cry cut? I don't use it. So
I call
don't
it
know.
cricket. I have one, but yes,
Okay.
cricket.
So a lot of people make their wings with that.
Okay.
That just seems like so leveled up. I'm amazed, but they're beautiful, but they're also very stiff. So I didn't want that because I'd have to be working and doing things and lifting things and going through small places. So I made a different kind, and I'm very excited about it. Do you know what Isis wings are? So I'm a belly dancer, and Isis wings are these things that you'll see belly dancers. If you look it up on YouTube, Isis, as in the goddess, ISIS.
Oh, they're like the fabric ones.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then they'll, dance with it.
Okay, yeah.
And I just happened to have some that were iridescent, and I thought, why don't I just make these into giant wings? And they're neat because they're on a kind of wire that's strong enough to hold its shape, but it still moves, so it looks very organic. And then when I lean over these little kids, because these little kids get so excited, at the fairs, and they come up to me with great big eyes, and I lean over them, and the wings kind of come forward and surround the kids, and their eyes get so big, like it's the coolest thing there. So anyway, that was a fun discovery. So
I love that. I love when little kids' minds blur fantasy and reality so perfectly and so well.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And I love thinking about, like, the first time that I read all those things, like when I was really little, my mom used to read me fairy tales, And I remember I've got a little typed out fairy tale that I wrote on the typewriter somehow when I was 4. And it's so funny because it's like almost unreadable, but if you really guess and really look at it phonetically, you can read it, you know.
How cute.
And as I got older, you know, I read Anne McCaffrey and I read Lord of the Rings, you know, trilogy and all the classics, Narnia and everything. And I remember how it was so. I mean, I'm 48 years old, so that was before it was cool, you know.
Yeah.
It never wasn't cool. I don't think that's true, but it was a smaller segment of people who knew about it.
For sure.
And it just changed my whole aesthetic and the way I look at life. So it's so cute to see kids have that same moment, you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember as a kid in the library, they were going to play that Lord of the Rings cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
Because this was before, because I was born before 2000. And,
Mm-hmm.
I remember as a kid going, you know, hey mom, can we see that? And she was worried about it being too scary. There's dragons and things. And so I never got to see it. I missed it. She didn't take me to go see it. You know, but I grew up reading far worse than that as far as scariness level. Like, so I don't know what my mom was thinking. But anyway, yeah, I was always kind of sad that I missed out on that. And then when the movies came out, I was like, yeah, this is my chance. They looked so good, you know. I was on board before because I had read the books. So I don't know what my point was with that. I'm sorry.
They are so good. Like they're just so well written. And I was just at the library today. I was having like a slight panic attack about organizing everything. So I'm like, okay, I need something to distract me. And obviously that would be a fantasy novel. So let's go to the library. And I really had a hard time like picking out a book because I just, you know, some people are just better writers than others. And once you get used to that or you get a taste of that, it's really hard to go back to just the kind of formulaic stuff. So I don't know. I grabbed 2. Hopefully one of them's good. We shall see. I just have to live in my own fantasy world. That's why I'm doing this festival, really.
Yeah. Yep. Can relate. Sorry.
Yep.
Quickly going back to the animated film, I had never I knew of Lord of the Rings, but for me, growing up like in late 90s, early 2000s, it was one of those things that people kind of went, Lord of the Rings are for people who play magic. They're for people who like LARPing and doing all these things that were just kind of like poo-pooed on. And there was one night when Cartoon Network was actually running a lot of what I would have deemed like maybe older films at the time, and one of them was the animated version of The Hobbit. And I was like, oh, okay, well, you know, that legitimately, that actually scared me to the point where I had to like turn it off.
Really?
There was, I think it was the scene where with the horsemen, like they blended real life with the animation thing, and it was just like the animation of the horses like riding in against oh god, hashtag fake fan here. I don't remember his name, but it was just that scene in particular that I just went, okay, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
And then I sat through the live action versions. I'm like, oh yeah, these are fine.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
I don't remember what the point of that was, but
well, every different kind of media hits you different, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it really
and
does.
if you were it was a different time in your life.
Yeah, that too.
Talking about authors for a second, the one that I like now, who I would consider more like probably someone that I could pick up and every book is just a fresh read of something, is pretty much anything by Neil Gaiman.
Oh, cool.
Who are your go-to authors?
Um, you know, I've had such a weird past few years. I haven't really read a whole lot of new authors. I've had this little period where I went back into my little book cave and pulled out of the bookshelf just stuff I've read before. I've never done that before in my life. So it's just been the basic. I was actually pretty amazed at going through Harry Potter stuff and
Mhm.
how well it was written. And then I read obviously The Lord of the Rings again. You got to do that. And I like sometimes I like the older children's things like the BFG. Who wrote that again? The Big Friendly Giant. Um, it was the
Um,
same person who wrote it's Roald Dahl.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And so that's been fun to go back into. I don't know. It depends on if I'm looking, and I love Anne McCaffrey. That's more science. It's like science fantasy, because there's dragons in it, but they were genetically modified to be dragons. So she's one of my favorites. She actually, I think, um, kind of saved my life in a way. I was really in a bad relationship for a long time, and just had, a bad mindset about myself too, because it was very limited.
mhm.
I thought that because of the particular religious affiliations I had growing up, I won't get into religion or anything, but just for me, I really believed that I was supposed to just exist to serve
Mhm.
everybody else around me, my family and everything.
Mhm.
And so I am very, like, I really want to I'm a person who wants to really be a good person. So it's just like a drive in me. So I really tried hard to kind of follow that rule, and to the point that I lost my whole identity for a while. And after I got divorced, I remember it was so strange to put it all back together. And my first boyfriend after that was such a nice guy, and he just was like listening to my story, like, what planet are you from? Like, that is not how women are treated today.
This is so relatable. We'll have to talk privately later.
Yes, totally. So that was interesting. But when I was still in the marriage, I remember feeling I was so such a rebel. I was reading Anne McCaffrey, like science fiction novels and stuff, and I wasn't supposed to read really anything but the Bible was what I was told and where I was. And I certainly am not saying that all Christians are like that. They are not, but it was just the little segment that I was in. So, and I was kind of isolated in that relationship. So I really didn't get it that other people weren't like that. It was really a strange. I know that's weird for any of you who didn't grow up that way, but if you meet another person who did grow up that way, they'll say the same thing.
It's a bubble.
It's a bubble, and it's brainwashing. It's the same principles as brainwashing. So you just really don't know, and you don't have anyone there to tell you. And we were told not to watch movies and not to watch TV and not to read books that were anything except for very specific authors or the Bible. And then so
And
I read that Bible over and over and over, and I would go to the pastor and be like, well, why what is happening here, because this isn't what's happening in the church. And he'd be so offended because he was watching porn on his computer and stuff,
and
and people
how
would
dare
find it on
you, right?
TV. Well, I don't care if he was anymore, but it was just the hypocrisy. So
Was he
anyway,
really? Like you caught him doing that? Or you
no,
were
but
it's
somebody did catch it on the church computer.
of all places. Somewhere.
A little weird. So
Um,
so anyway, um,
That's
I would call it out because I'm just that person. I'm just the person who has to call it out and just I don't know. And then I would leave. They would tell me to leave. They would tell me I was like a wolf in sheep's clothing. And I'm like, okay. And then I would leave that church. One time I walked out in the middle of the service, grabbed my kids, and just walked right down that aisle. It was awesome. But
that's
anyway,
really bold.
then within months, the whole church would fold because people would find out what was happening there. And it happened a couple times. And I'm not saying I was responsible for it. I'm just saying that there was stuff happening.
You just,
I didn't mean it was me.
She just lit the match and threw it over her shoulder as she walked out.
Yes. What was that? Wasn't there like a skit about how cool guys don't flinch at explosions or something like that? That was me.
Oh, yeah, I feel like I've seen that. Yeah, you just walk coolly away without looking back.
You don't even look back. Yeah.
Just it's all on fire behind you and
right.
pews are flying and
there was shrapnel.
Shrapnel, yes.
There were like Bible pages fluttering down out of the sky, little burning fragments and stuff. No, I actually think Christianity in some pockets of it are really good, and do help people for sure. It's just humans, you know what I mean? In any group, there's going to be some that are a little weird and really off kilter. So
I think that's exactly it. It's any group. I mean,
it's any group.
I was in a bad Girl Scouts group too. So
right. I mean, it could be anything.
Yeah,
for sure. So, but anyway, so it like nothing about the affiliation of it, but the situation was pretty abusive, or you could call it abusive. And so it was really, that's what I'm trying to tie it back to the Anne McCaffrey thing. So her characters were very, almost, I think all of them are, the main characters are female for the most part. And they are very strong characters, and they're leaders, political leaders, and they're whatever. They are the movers and shakers, and they're bossy and they expect things from people. And it was just like such a revelation to see that at that time in my life. It was weird. And now that's me, I guess. No, I'm not very bossy.
So what I'm hearing is whenever you have your bonfire at your festival, how you're going to light it is going to be you walking away from it, and you're just going to toss them out behind you, and everything's just going to catch on fire.
So I'm going to have to
dump a bunch of like whatever on it, lighter fluid, and then do that. It'll be a really cool effect.
Now I'm canceling my trip to be there for this. Also, can I photograph that or film it for you? Because that's my thing. I do photography and stuff like that, and I would love to shoot that moment where you.
I'll learn how to breathe fire, and then I'll just light it that way. Okay.
Like a dragon.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Actually,
be cool.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure. No.
So, okay. Put a little bit of lighter, like just kind of get a bouquet, take a brush of some kerosene, dab all of it in like a little bit of kerosene on top, light it on fire, and use that to toss it behind you.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
That would be you know what that would be cool for?
What?
Like the ultimate divorce party. Seriously, you just came up with it. That is the ultimate divorce party activity.
Some people do there's all kinds of different symbolic and ritualistic things we do when people have babies. They have gender reveal parties, and when people get divorced, sometimes they burn their wedding license or whatever. That I've seen people do stuff like that.
Yep.
Maybe that's the next thing.
That's the next big thing. You heard it here, folks.
From the lonely little brain cell. You're welcome.
The lonely little brain cell. Have you seen that? There's a video spiraling, or it had spiraled around TikTok, that is about the snail uses 2 brain cells. And then someone else made up one that's just, it's time to slow down. It's snail time. Only use 2 brain cells. Like calm yourself down to the level of only using 2 brain cells. It's snail time for you. You're just going to take a break from life.
I definitely need to do that.
And yeah, James is the one that showed it to me, and he was like, he thought it was hilarious. And so every now and then when I'm around him, I'll be like, he'll do something silly or low brain activity level. I don't know what to call that. It's kind of dumb. And I'll go, is it snail time? Is it snail time now, James?
Oh my god.
Oh,
That's what I should change my name to.
zing.
Snail time.
It's about snail time in a minute. I'm gonna need a two-brain
Oh
cell.
my god. I like that one too. Now I'm gonna be like doom scrolling TikTok to find the snail.
If I find it, I'll send it to you.
Okay.
The snail time. Or I'll get James to send it to me.
Oh.
So this festival, is this going to be, and I don't mean to make you speak too soon, but is this going to be perhaps one of many?
I'm hoping. That's what we're all hoping for, but it really depends on numbers.
Yeah.
So, people jump in. I hope everybody jumps in with both feet in when I open ticket sales. So I haven't started selling tickets yet. It'll be in the next few days, though. I think I finally found the right ticket. There's so many ticket platforms, and it's really boring to talk about, so I won't. But I'm just saying it's very confusing, and it's a lot of them. So I think I found the right one, and then I'll put on the ticket sales, and away we go, and we'll start seeing
Awesome.
what happens. We've got tons of volunteers. Now we need tons of just people to come and enjoy it.
So what are some good ways people can help you get the word out?
So it would be great if they would join the event on Facebook.
Okay.
Like definitely get in there and mark yourself as interested or going or whatever. And then in addition to that, share the event on your own page. That's really huge, you know, because Facebook, the algorithm will boost it, how many people Facebook shows it to will be boosted based on how many people share it or interact with it too. So
Okay.
it's just going.
Okay. I posted the link for anybody watching. I posted that in the chat, so you can just click that
Awesome.
and go join it.
Awesome.
share
And
it.
then when you come, try to like get a little group with you, you know.
Oh,
get a
that's
whole
a good
bunch of people
way to
going.
do it. Bring a friend.
Yep.
Bring 10 friends.
Bring 10 friends and just dress like crazy weirdos.
I
And
love that it's noon to
Yes.
9. That really is cool to me.
Yeah. So from noon to 3, we're thinking so far, because we're still getting volunteers in. So it's like we're trying to balance the entertainment. But noon to 3 is going to probably be more kids programming. There might be some workshops going on and music and things. There'll be things for the adults for sure. But we'll have additionally to that, we'll have kids programming from noon to 3, and then it will be adult stuff from then on. And I don't mean like adult, like XX. I mean just not kids stuff.
Right. I get it.
Not specifically made for kids. Yeah. We're not going to be
That's a whole
that
different
one.
festival.
We're not going to do that festival. No.
Hello and welcome to the Living Myth Legend. I'm sorry, the Living Myth. Oh boy. All right. Nope.
It's the
See, no,
Living
no,
Myth
I'm
Legend
having a
Fest.
moment.
Legendary.
The LML Fest.
There we go.
Let me try that one more time. The lonely little brain cell's going to have another go at this. Hello and welcome to the Living Myth Legend Fest After Dark.
Oh my Lord.
My video froze. Give me a second. Sorry.
Oh,
Or is
at least you look cute in it.
At least I'm
It's fine.
smiling. Right?
Yeah.
if anyone were to show up, what are some creatures, what are some people, what are some costumes that you're hoping to see at the festival?
Okay, so we've got tons of different kinds of fairies. So yes, there's a lot of fairies so far, but they're each a different kind, and they're each going to be able to interact with the audience in a different way. So you can go up to any of those fairies that are kind of sitting underneath a little bunch of trees, and they'll have something for you to do or something. Like one of them is a Luna Moth fairy.
Ooh.
And she just told me this, and it's so cute. They each have to have their own thing, you know. So she's gonna have a lantern that she brings, and because she's a moth, right? She's attracted to light. Anyway, so and she loves to dance around the flames. So she might ask you to hold her lantern while she dances around you.
I love that.
Oh,
Like
that
that's
is
one example. Or a riddle. Actually, there's two trolls in training to be underneath the bridge. So and the thing that kind of differentiates this particular festival from ones that I've seen locally is there's going to be pretty hardcore quests. So like if you like escape rooms and
Oh,
the puzzles and ciphers and all the like riddles and everything, then we're going to
mhm.
have full on quests that you can go on and like kind of just save the realm. And so that's going to be really fun. There'll be one for kids that's more simple, and then there'll be at least one for adults. We have a lot of ideas for what we eventually want, if this continues year to year, is to have like 5 quests happening at the same time. So you can choose whichever one you want. And if you're there all day, you might, if you're really clever and fast, you might be able to do all of them. But they each have, they don't really have a prize that's like you necessarily take something home, maybe, but usually it's a more of a ceremony at the end, only for the people who have won, and then it's revealed to them what they actually did to save the realm. So,
Ooh,
like, have you ever seen Ender's Game or read it?
yes.
Okay,
Uh,
so it's kind of like that. We're at the end, except for we're not like you just annihilated the planet. Great job. It's rather is you just saved it, so it's much better ending.
surprise! It's opposite day.
Yeah. And they'll have to, and I'm just like, I'll give one hint to it is you might want to study all of your basic witchcraft stuff because the I'm not going to say anything else, but there's a lot of things in witchcraft that are also just used in fairy tales. And so those will be an easy way to find some of the things that are going to be used as clues or ciphers or things like that.
The cool thing about having, like you said, that if someone were to be quick about it and clever, they could potentially do all of the activities in one day.
Right.
But
And then
that,
they might get like a special treatment.
okay. Because
Because
that's
there's,
one thing that would make people want to maybe come back. Like if
yeah.
eventually you turned into like a whole weekend instead of one day
Oh, yeah.
or something, then I could see someone wanting to come back another time to do the other activities.
Yes. Yep. And
That's cool.
they're going to change probably year to year, but we might keep some of them just because of that reason. Like some people didn't maybe do it before, or
Right.
you know what I mean? Or they might want to, maybe they came, but their friend that's with them didn't. And
Sure.
then they can kind of enjoy their friend, you know, discovering it too.
Right.
So that would be cute.
It's, yeah, I could see that. I'd bring people
Well,
to various festivals that haven't been yet, and that's part of the joy for me is watching
it
them
is.
experience it for the first time.
I love that. I'm the weirdo who can go to a festival just by myself and wander around and feel comfortable. I'm really strange. I'll even go to movies by myself, but like I think that's just because I read so much, so I'm used to experiencing things by myself. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I love going with a person who's fun. Like, you know what I mean? Some people, nothing impresses them, and it's like, no, you don't go with that person. you,
Yeah, what's
you
the
go
point?
with the person who's excited when you give them a gift, and they're like, "Oh my god, thank you!" You know, and they react to things, and then it's really they're a little more childlike. Then it's fun to go.
Yes.
There are a few adults out there like that. We should all strive to be one of them. That's my
I totally
that's my
agree.
advice for the day.
so I will admit something, and Emily knows this, but I will admit it again. I have actually never been to a Renfest
Oh
at
my gosh,
all.
you would love it. I bet you would love it.
For shame.
Look, you are not going to Game of Thrones shame bell me because I am rectifying this.
How have we been friends this long? We've been friends for like 20,000 years.
Are you sure you can continue to be friends?
I was.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, one, we've been friends this long because we're both amazing people, and two, we have a very common interest of things. But three, my boyfriend Seth and I are officially going to the Carolina Ren Fair, the Ren Fest,
Cool.
in October.
Yes.
We are rectifying this.
Seth, if you're
Are
listening,
you gonna dress up? Are you gonna dress up? What are you gonna wear?
This year I don't have enough time, just with everything that's going on to put something together. But I do have my costume planned for next year.
Okay.
So I'm going as a bard next year.
A bard.
are you wearing plain like street clothes and also Seth wearing street clothes?
Yes.
Are you gonna bring a musical instrument?
If I can learn how to play one, yes. So here's the thing: is that I went to school to sing. I did not. I don't know yet how to play that, but it might actually be really cool and like fairly authentic to learn how to play, like, I don't know, something like the lyre or the lute, or do like a hand harp sort of thing.
Yes.
Might actually be kind of really.
Yes, they're so cool. If you're interested, I'll send you videos later. Yes.
So, I mean, Seth and I talked it over. It was something that really interested him because he's never been to the one. I've never been to one, and we were like, date night. So, Seth, you just got 100 cool points from Emily.
That's right.
There you go.
You'll get 100 more next year when you dress up. I was gonna offer to ship you garb. I need the turkey leg. I was gonna offer to ship you garb, but I don't have enough garb for both of. Oh, I might be misspeaking. Well, we can talk about this later. I don't know that I have enough garb for both of you. I have enough garb for one of you, and that's not really fair. So
okay.
Well, right.
But if you need help next year, let me know because I do have some pieces. We'll talk.
Okay. We'll talk.
Yes.
Yes.
So that sort of confession / tomato throwing at me / redeeming thing of me. My question to you is, so for someone who's going to go for their first time to Renfest, or to anyone who's going for their first time, what do you recommend doing? What are your like top 10 recommendations to do at a Renfest when you go?
Well, it depends on what you like. Like, since you're interested in music, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's usually quite a bit of music. And I don't know about that particular Renfest or how big it is, but a lot of times they'll have a program for you when you walk in the door. If they do hand you a program, then really look it over before you really get going. Otherwise, you'll just miss every single thing that you kind of want to see. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the stage shows have schedules, and it'll be on that program.
Yeah, so even before that, look on their website to see, because they'll have them listed on there too, that you can give them a listen and see if there's something you'd want to see live. What else do they have there,
That's
Emily?
really good advice.
Mm-hmm. And bring cash. Most of them don't have really good, like the vendors don't have good access to Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay.
And there's really cool stuff at a lot of them. I mean, like bring a couple $100 if you can afford it.
Oh boy. Okay. Duly noted.
Depending on what you want to get.
Find that stuff anywhere else.
Yeah, you're better safe than sorry. And they'll have like maybe an ATM there, but it's going to be like $10 to pull money out. So
yeah,
the fees are
and
insane.
As a side note, we won't have an ATM at Legend Fest because they want all the banks charge $10,000. Like that's what they quoted him, $10,000 to have it there.
What?
That's
I'm not kidding.
Stupid.
So he
that's
thought
snail
so
time level.
I was like, oh,
Wow,
okay,
that's a lot.
yeah. So, you know,
Some
whatever.
vendors,
Cash.
if they're small, some vendors can only really take cash. And
Mhm.
sometimes it means the
True.
difference of a discount, because I've gotten discounts by paying cash
Some of them are like that.
because they don't have to pay their credit card fees and stuff. So
Right.
Okay.
it's worth it.
Yep. I don't know what else is there, Emily. Like everyone is very different each. And
It's about a third of the size of Minnesota.
okay.
The Minnesota Renaissance Festival, not the state. And
Right. Wow, I'm going right now.
it'll take you several days to get through it.
Okay.
They've got a decent joust there, which is nice. There's a few places to scope out where you want to sit before you get food. I'll say that there's a section of the hillside there where there isn't many places to sit, and it's in the sun, so you want to scope out a place to sit. The Tortuga Twins are there, which is a
cool.
show that you
here
might
too.
enjoy. The Tortuga Twins are like everywhere.
Yes. Yeah, there's definitely a circuit for the Ren Fair entertainment.
Zilch the Storytellers there.
Mm-hmm.
The washing wenches? Is that a universal name? Okay, because I believe they're there. That might be the only three, and they mix it up too. They have new acts coming in and out, so you'd check it out. Like Bristol, every now and then would have these Japanese drummers come in for just like a weekend, and it was one of the coolest experiences. If you missed it, if you weren't there on that weekend, you wouldn't see them. And I don't think they play any other festivals, but that was kind of neat. So I would definitely check out the schedule.
Yeah, look on the website, because there might be a specific weekend you really want.
Mm-hmm.
Like Min Ren Fest has the weekend, and it's only one weekend with belly dancers.
Oh, right.
People go to that or whatever.
They have a petting zoo.
Yes.
Both
and
of them
they have
do.
mermaids usually in a tank.
Do they really?
At Minnesota.
Oh, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Do they still have that little walk?
Or actually, in the tank. Yeah, there's an area where there's an actual stream and stuff, I think, where they sit too. But it seemed to me there was one tank also.
Huh.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's amazing. I haven't been there in many years, and I intend to go this year. But I have not. Well, it's been like 15 years. So.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of my friends perform there, or not most, but a lot of them. And my boyfriend performed there for 7 years. So it's kind of, I don't know, it feels like I'm surrounded by it.
Yeah. Do they still have that little walk? It was like a nature trail where there was all these little fairy houses and stuff.
Yes, it's so cute.
Okay, cool. I remember that. That was always one of my favorite things there.
Yeah, and that you have to go through the Hobbit house to get there. Remember that?
Oh, yes. I remember that. That was another cool thing.
It's round, just like the Hobbit house.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Some of the coolest... Carolina doesn't have as many people that dress up and go in costume that don't work there. But some of the best costuming, Trey, is the Royal Court. And they have like kind of a big tent area with rugs on the ground. Kind of in the middle. Like when you walk in, it's in the center of the walkway. They've created this space. And they hold court there, and they have like you can go up and sit down and watch and kind of be part of it.
My computer is trying to drain its battery, so keep talking.
Okay.
Okay.
And that's kind of neat because they'll do like courtly dances and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Where there's like this little grassy area where they'll come out and dance. I'm trying to think of what else is there. There's this whole wing. It's been a few years since I've been there, but there's this whole like wing on the very far end of the festival that's all kind of piratey. So there's a big pirate ship back there, and they do stage shows on that. It's a pirate ship / stage.
Ooh. Okay.
And then back there were a bunch of vendors, and a few of them were pirate themed too.
So what you're telling me is I have had a very depraved childhood and not been to Renfest, and so I'm gonna have an amazing time when I go.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
and then if you feel like you want more, then you can just come up here to this one. Cuz this one's going on now too.
Wait, when is it? When is
Minnesota, it's
the?
happening now.
Yeah.
Dang it!
This
Like, it
was
feels like it's really been interrupted. So tell me if I'm not through.
you're fine on this end. I have a cat that just jumped up on my desk. Buddy, this is not a good time.
Okay, good.
Oh, now your video froze. I could still hear you though. Oh wait,
Yes.
it's back. And if you ever head over to the Tennessee Renaissance Festival, that festival is about the size of Carolina. I think that one's in Knoxville. I've been to a few.
What?
Yeah, I've been to several. The TRF, the one in Texas, is the coolest one so far that I've been to. We seem to be having some connection issues. Can you hear me, Trey?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can hear you.
Okay.
Um,
Are we good?
It's kind of okay right now, but it was really bad for a while.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, it's a little choppy video-wise, but it's fine. Are you okay, Trey?
Yeah, I'm sorry. The look on my face was more concerned. Yes, I am fine. Are you okay?
I'm fine. The cool thing about Texas TRF was that they, once it got dark, because they end like November, I want to say, right before Thanksgiving. I think it was right before Thanksgiving. And they close at, I don't know, 6, maybe 7. And when it gets dark, they have all these lights, like lantern lights that come on, and they actually do a fireworks show at night. So they technically close, but you can kind of like right at the end they sorry, Amy's having problems. Amy, if you can hear us, do you want to try like just totally rebooting and rejoining? Yeah, you can back out and re-enter.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever you need to do.
Okay.
I was about to type to her that the link stays the same. Yeah, sorry. We'll have to edit that out.
No problem.
Also, the
so
private
we'll
chat is showing up on the screen. There we go. What were you saying?
I was just going to say, so ladies and gentlemen, thought I heard her come back. So we'll have Amy rejoin us in a second, but so yeah, so there we go.
Are you back? It looks like you're back. Can you hear us?
I think so.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there's just a delay between when your mouth moves and when we can hear it. What would it be helpful if you like rebooted the computer? I'm sorry, I can't tell if you can hear me or not. Okay.
I'm going to try one more time.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Fun stuff. Like I said, it wouldn't be a podcast if we didn't have a technical issue. No worries. I can see on her end that she goes from like 4 bars to 0 to 4 to 0. It's or 1. It's like, can you see that on your
didn't really hear
entry?
you, but
Oh, she's gone. Okay. Super lag. Same for you guys. I'm not getting lag other than from her.
Where was I going to go with that? So kind of talking about the Renfest thing. Actually, one thing that I do want to talk about in honor of our guest this evening, while we're waiting for Amy to rejoin us, for our listeners, is that not only is Amy the creator and founder and going to be like behind putting together the Living Myth Legend Fest, but she also has a store. So if you go over to boldoracles.com, she has quite an assortment of different collective items. She has fragrances, she has necklaces and pendants, hair clips, headdresses that she was mentioning earlier, inspired by Brian Froud. Hashtag, what did she say? Froudian slips. She has necklaces, earrings, oracle cloaks, and then you can get some additional updates for the Living Myth Legend Fest. There you can find forms to volunteer, to be a vendor, to perform, and general information about the fest itself. So go to boldoracle.com and check out our amazing person's store. I was actually, one thing I do actually want to call out. She mentioned earlier in the podcast talking about lunar moths, and there's actually a lunar moth amethyst necklace that's there that is actually really nice. Like it's
I see it. It is pretty. I didn't want to bring this up while she was on because she was talking about the Luna moth idea for the fairy that's the Luna moth. It was such a great idea for what she's doing. I'm planning a photo shoot that's based on a Luna moth.
Are you really?
I'm using the wing frame from the Black Wings, and I was remaking wings for it that were Luna moth shaped because the basic arc on the top is similar enough when they're open all the way that I could use that for the Luna moth wings because they kind of have that. It's like a gradual slope, and so do the wings that I have. I wouldn't have them open and close. I just lock them open. And then Brenna was going to be the model, and she has a dress that's kind of that plum color that's Luna moths have on their wings. And it was just a matter of finishing the wings, really. I want to do it before fall. That would be nice.
That actually sounds really awesome. Please send me pictures, please.
Of course. Yeah. Did I send you pictures of the piano shoot?
The most recent one that you did?
Yeah, a couple days ago.
No.
Oh, dang. Okay, I'm doing that now. This is so unprofessional.
Oh, no.
Well, I could send them to you, and then I can share them with the audience. That's what I can do. So I invited... My friend Ross is a music teacher, and he has wanted to do a photo shoot with a piano after seeing the piano photo shoot I did a few years ago. It's the same one we talked about with Stephanie Clausen, where we burned the piano to the ground.
Yes.
In sacrilege. Yeah. Anyway,
somehow I will forgive you for that, but okay.
I mean, if you heard the story behind it, you might. But anyway, so he wanted to do something like that. So we went and got a piano off of Facebook Marketplace for free. By the way, if you need a piano, Facebook Marketplace has so many pianos for free. You just have to haul it yourself, which is the biggest obstacle. I'm just sending you a bunch of pictures, and then I'll go through them once we've got it on the... I'm sorry. I totally thought I sent you some of these.
No, it's fine. Honestly, for me, I enjoy finding out about like the pictures that you have and things kind of when our audience does, because it's like you get to see my live reaction to things. Like,
yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh, she's back. Let's try it. Whoops. Sorry, Trey. Can you see and hear us?
I can. It's normal.
Hooray!
I'm so glad it worked.
Yes.
Good. Okay.
So while you were gone, we promoted your store.
Yes.
We had all of the we talked about some of the necklaces that we saw, and one of them that I was bringing up was particularly because you talked about the lunar moth earlier, was the lunar moth amethyst necklace that you have in your store.
Yeah, isn't that cute? I love that one.
So nice.
So
I love
that
it
was
too.
a little more accessible for some people. Small. Mm-hmm. And it's actually the fairy is a Luna moth fairy, Luna, but that put lunar because there's little moons all the way across the necklace. So I thought that was cute.
Oh, sure, I see that. So I'll just.
So a lot of the stones are like they're genuine stones, obviously, and then, but they have the magical properties. So or traditional properties that a lot of people throughout history believed that they had. And so I listed that wherever I could. And then I have a lot of coin necklaces, and those generally come kind of from the Pakistan area.
Okay. Yeah, that's really unique.
I mean, I make the necklaces, but the coins come from the Pakistan area.
Right.
Thank you.
I
make jewelry for belly dancers mostly. So, I mean, oh, what?
I was getting a little feedback. I was wondering if you. Yeah, I'm getting feedback.
Should I turn it down?
Yeah. Just a little. And it's I can tell it's my own voice.
Okay.
I've always been attracted to.
Down quite a bit. Is that better?
Yeah. I've always been aesthetically attracted to tiger eye, and I see there is a tiger eye necklace on your site that is beautiful. I love that shape too.
It's and when you move it, the light inside of it shifts. It's called chatoyance.
Oh.
And that's what I like about it. Yeah. So also moonstones and labradorite have that same quality, and so a lot of people think that they help to bring hidden things to light, or if you have hidden gifts, like things that you're naturally gifted at, that it'll help you to develop those hidden gifts.
So Trey, if I wear that while I sing,
then you will have the most gorgeous voice ever.
Thank you. I'm ordering now.
I have like this big honkin' thing of and I know that's such a technical term. Honkin' being probably about like 3 to 4 inch chunk of labradorite sitting on my dresser downstairs.
Pretty.
It's I don't know, it's just this big chunk, and I surround it with like different things. I'm not a super religious person, but I do believe in like the energy that we put out into the world is the same that we get back, and so I'm attracted to like different minerals and different gemstones and things, and so I've got things like selenite around it, tiger's eye, turquoise, amethyst, rose quartz, fluorite a little bit, so just a lot of like, I don't know, things that I'm just genuinely attracted to.
Yeah, I do that too. You want to see one? Let's see if we can get this to. It might not work. Let me get the light on it. Ow! The light is like burning hot. Oh well.
Oh no!
Oh no!
At first, I thought you'd totally.
When I'm going to show you my stash. Anyway, so I have chunks of things too. I'm holding up a green calcite right now.
Oh, okay. I see that it's green.
Yeah, and I have this. Is kind of neat. It's
oh my god!
Is it
an amethyst?
I was gonna guess amethyst. That is quite a piece of amethyst.
Now that's a honking piece of amethyst.
There's an intruder. It's really good for throwing it.
It's almost like a dagger. It's almost blade shaped. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Someone made a TikTok of I don't know, like, oh, stones absolutely do have magical properties. If someone breaks into your house, you can just take the chunk of labradorite that you have on your shelf and just chunk it at and chunk it at the intruder.
It's very effective.
It is. I've
Yeah.
seen movies.
But I do believe in stone energy. I remember as a little kid, my sister and I would look for agates in the driveway because we had a really long quarter-mile driveway, and we'd look for agates there. And I know I've been able, like some people say that they can feel like energy coming off of the stones, and I really can. It's really strange. So there's a park called Interstate Park at the border between Wisconsin and Minnesota, up by St. Croix Falls and Taylor's Falls.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like some stones that if you stand on them, it just feels like there's electricity kind of shooting up through my legs. That's how I feel. Like very mild. It's not painful, but it's like interesting. And there's a really good rock shop there too, called the Taylor's Falls Bead Store. So if you ever go there, I would totally recommend that.
Have other people mention this electricity thing too, or is this just you?
It's pretty common.
Oh, is it? Okay, I don't know. Obviously, I've never experienced this.
Yeah. And so they'll experience it in different ways. Some people, it feels like electricity, or just some people, it just feels a little kind of warm. Some things, when I touch them, it actually kind of hurts. And I don't mean like a knife. Just certain stones, and I don't know what it is exactly, but some people think that the stones absorb the energy of the people that have touched them before you.
Oh,
so
interesting.
Maybe there was a axe murderer that touched that one. I don't know.
That might explain the sword and the stone story.
There we go.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a unique take.
I don't want to Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, that's a thought for later. Go ahead.
No, please go ahead.
We're gonna say, Laura.
No, you.
No, Laura Packer, if you're listening, here's another. Here's a unique take on the sword and the stone. And go.
Oh, if only Laura was here, that would be fun. One day I'm gonna have this. Oh well, we're gonna have the castle takeover, so I won't have to do that. Never mind. I was gonna say one day I'm gonna have this giant party where I'm gonna introduce all of these people that need to know each other to each other, and we'll just have one big happy. And I don't have to worry about that because we're gonna do the castle takeover, and I'll invite everybody to that anyway.
There you go. That sounds fun.
Yeah, it started like one of our very first podcasts where we decided we were going to do a photo shoot with Rhinus Leatherworks, which we still are. I still plan on doing that. Mark and Elva, if you're listening, I'm sorry, it's been a while. I hope you haven't given up on us. I'll make it out there. They are out in California, and they made the leather armor for one of the episodes of Lucifer. Mm-hmm. And we interviewed them, and we just hit it off with them. It was so fun. And then we kind of decided we were going to do a photo shoot at this castle library, and we're going to have to steal a castle to make this happen because nobody has a library like that we know yet. And so then it just took off from there, and now we've basically invited everybody. All of our guests, including you, are invited. We just don't know when and where yet. But I feel like with your powers and ours, we could organize like a castle siege weekend where we actually like go and hang out and do photo shoots and eat great food and share stories and have bonfires and dress up.
That would be so fun.
Yeah.
That would be so fun.
We need a castle Airbnb of some kind.
Definitely.
With a library.
There we go. A library and maybe some belly dancers.
Come as you are or not. Yes. And if any of you out there listening want to contribute to this, talk about it, be involved somehow, sponsor it, or if you have a castle. See, I'm screwing up words. I almost said cancel. If you have a castle, Please email us at sponsoruswelove at themodrom.com.
Is it sponsor us or please sponsor us? We love you at
It's
Mod
please sponsor us. We love you. I'm sorry. It is please. We are polite. We are polite after all. I'm sorry. I just went on that whole rampage. Yes, but that's the plan. We're going to take over. And I feel like I explained this. We should just make a video explaining the Castle Siege so that when that time comes, I can just hit play on a video and I don't have to tell this story every single podcast because it's gotten to that.
That would be so fun. That would be like the epic story, party of the year.
It would.
Wouldn't
Good
it?
music.
Yes.
Can we please make this basically a Ren Fair Fest, but just call it Castle Takeover Fest? And then
There we go.
We could do it
And
at
that
Ren in
way-
the Glen.
yes,
They are wanting to rent it out, so
We'll talk about this later. This might be cool. I don't want to leave our viewing audience hanging. I'll end up editing this out later of the recorded podcast, but I didn't want to. We talked while you were gone. We were trying to fill space and time until you got back. So I started talking about the photo shoot I did a few days ago with my friend Ross, who is a music teacher, and he wanted to do a photo shoot with a piano that we got for free off of Facebook Marketplace. And so I had a few pictures I just wanted to share as a sneak peek. Also to show Trey, because he hadn't seen yet. So this was us setting up.
oh,
We talked
cool.
about it. I didn't want to leave the audience hanging because I was like, oh, I'll show you pictures. And then you came back.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be like, oh. So this was us setting up, and we just kind of had, that's out in the backyard.
That's
We
gorgeous.
hauled the piano out there, and we got a bunch of people to donate candles. Thank you to everyone who donated candles to this. That's his mom helping us set up.
Aw.
So I mounted sconces to the side of the piano, and we put candles in those too. There's Ross playing the piano. The piano actually sounded gorgeous. And then
Cool.
at night, of course, we lit all the candles. And it was so cool. The wax was dripping down. And these are just cell phone shots because I haven't pulled the final shots off my camera yet. But it was so cool.
That is such a good idea.
It turned out amazing. That picture
Yeah.
is not the best
Aw.
quality, but I think it translates to okay.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it was really the
That's
wax
so
was
creative.
dripping everywhere.
Beautiful.
I thought I had another one, but I guess that's it. Anyhow, you get the idea. That's a photo shoot we
That's
did.
amazing.
Then we cleaned everything up. We put it all back in the garage. And in another weekend or two, we're going to burn it to the ground. We're hauling it over to his parents' house, and they have this spot in their yard where they'll burn things. Sometimes they have like a burn pile. They're out in the country, and we're gonna burn it, and he's gonna play as long as he can, and we're gonna shoot it. I did that before with another piano and another friend and another story, but when he saw those pictures, he wanted to do it too, so we're doing it too.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm glad I got to show everybody. That's cool. Don't tell.
Photography is so hard. Like, I'm in awe of people who like you who do photography. I bought a little, what are they called, like Rebel? You know what I mean? One
Oh,
of
yeah,
those
a
little
Canon.
starter ones.
Mhm.
And I'm just like, I have watched so many hours of YouTube videos for how to do it. I don't know. It's like a mental block or something.
I think it's okay to shoot in auto mode
Mm-hmm.
until you figure out some of the settings and things. I think it's okay
Yeah.
to as long as you're doing it. That's what matters, is to go get your feel for it, get your eye for it, figure out what
Yeah.
you like, and just don't worry about the settings. To me, that's
'Cause I think
technical
I'm
and
just scared of it
secondary.
more than anything. Yeah, you're right.
I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what stopped me from getting, like, back when I got into photography, that's what stopped me from getting a more professional level camera, was that very thing. The settings, I didn't understand them.
Right.
You know, I had I had a Canon No, a Nikon Coolpix. It was just a little point and shoot thing.
Yeah.
And it takes good pictures. Well, it took good. It is no longer.
Yeah. I think I had one of those too. It was good at the time.
Yeah. And if that's really having an eye for it is more important than the settings. I believe, because there's so many people out there that don't know about composition and lighting and things like that. But once you figure out what your style is, then the settings are second. You can figure that out later.
Right. Totally. Well, I've taken millions of pictures, it seems like, for the website over the last 13 years. So I kind of know very little, but it's about product shooting.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And so that's kind of a thing. And it's funny because most of my fans of my products, like they get what's happening there, but it's hilarious because if you look at my website and you don't know me, you're like, why is every single picture of you? And it's because I don't have money for a model.
You're the model. Yeah.
So that's really why. So anyway.
Well, and that's small business.
It is.
Yeah.
It makes me look egotistical, but that really isn't the reason. I would prefer to have other people do it, but whatever. That's kind of the fun of it. You feel like you have to do everything yourself for a while anyway, and then you understand all the parts of your business so much better.
Well, and there's something cool about getting a piece, or buying, receiving a piece that maybe you actually wore, even if it was just for a shot, or whether you wore it or not. I don't know if you do any production work or anything, but even still, there's that, like, how do I put this? It's more intimate, and it feels like a closer connection. Like, I bought it from you, not just from Bold Oracle.
Right.
You know?
Yep. It's more, it's more personal. And then a lot of my clientele are, have different kinds of spiritual paths. So some of them really feel like there's energy that's actually transferred, So that's kind of a special thing too.
If you're the last one to touch the rock.
Yep. There you go.
It's kind of that same thing, like when you inherit something from, I don't know, from a relative or from someone where they give you something that meant a lot to them. And I think that's like Emily, I've watched you hand make things, and then you pass that on to someone, and you watch the joy upon their faces, because it's not only a gift that they've received from you, but it's also like it means so much to them. And so there's a lot of, sorry, I'm gonna get on my soapbox about like art for a second.
Do it.
In art, I think we as people are seeing each other and seeing the art that's created between two forces. And when two forces who both equally love something just as much, but maybe sometimes not always for the same reason, but they work together to honestly make such an incredibly better experience because of it. Because you have not only the crafter, you also have the receiver, and art and beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And if both of them see it as beauty, it is gorgeous, both inside and out.
Yes, right. That's so true. It creates the end result is greater than the parts.
So to anyone who, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, this time you're going.
Okay, you're gonna remember what you were about to say?
No, but go.
You started to say to anyone.
Okay, got it.
Okay. I was going to say, I find giving the gift of something I made to be better than receiving a gift. So I get giddy about it. I'm giddy at Christmas, and I'm giddy at birthdays, and I'm giddy at any time I get to give a gift, more so than any time I've ever received one. And that makes me probably a really bad gift receiver, and I'm sorry. Because I do enjoy that too, but like I get so much out of giving that you're right. It does make both sides, the giver and the receiver, it gives them both something. And I get that is all I'm saying. That doesn't mean you shouldn't give me gifts. My email address is...
You better be careful.
My address is... I'm sorry. I'm going to cut this part out of the podcast, too. I'm having a day. I don't know what's wrong with me. What were you going to say, Trey?
To anyone who buys something from Amy's store, from Bold Oracle, or buys anything from any of the wonderful vendors that are going to appear at the festival, just remember that it is made with a lot of love. It's made with a lot of care. So it's not just something to be worn at Renfest. It is something that means a lot to the people who make it. So that is not just a pretty piece. It is art. Please remember that.
Yeah, everybody at Living Myth is going to be, I think every single one of them is going to be people who make their own products. There's not going to be, sometimes you go to a craft sale and there's like pyramid scheme tables and all kinds of weird stuff. And you're like, you did not make this. You ordered this from China. You know what I mean? Or whatever. We're not having those people there. So it'll just be art and then the other fun stuff you got to have at a festival. We're trying to make sure we have henna and face painting and you know what I mean? But that still is art. So
yeah, it is art. And it's still a part of that person who made it.
It is.
And I never understood that until it was explained to me like this. If you think about one person that created something that you enjoy in your life and they are no longer with us. Mm-hmm. For instance, a musician, there are plenty of musicians we've loved that have passed, actors, artists, all kinds of people like that in our lives that created something and can no longer. That's it. They're gone. You can only create so many things in your life. You have a limit. Everybody does. So yes, there's definitely a part of them in every single one. Yeah, all of it is all limited edition.
Right. And sometimes people forget that when they look, for instance, if you shop at Etsy or shop at somebody who's like my store where, they made most of the pieces themselves, they forget that that's a human being who's making those pieces. So
yeah,
they might not make, that might be your chance to get it because they might not make the same type of art forever. They're a person that grows in their art and you kind of have a path and a process that you go through and you learn and grow like anybody does. So if you really like this particular, maybe their work, right now I'm doing the coin draped necklaces, but if you like my kind of diehard fans know that 7 years ago, it didn't really look like that. My jewelry didn't look the same. And so like when you shop from somebody who's a handmade seller, and if you find that perfect piece, you're not going to find it again. You're not shopping at Walmart. It's not going to be something you can find in a different store because they just sourced it in China anyway, and there's millions of them out there.
Mass produced,
you can grab it if you can, you know what I mean? And that's it. That might be it.
What advice would you give someone who was considering starting a festival like what you're doing? Is there any advice that you would give for them to maybe begin that journey?
Yeah, so to begin the journey, you have to spend a lot of time. There's not much that's more stressful. There's not very many things that are more stressful than having an event for that what might be over 1,000 people, because there's safety and everything is involved, and whether they're going to be able to get food for the day and basic things like that. So you need to be ready mentally to do that. If you're not that kind of person, if you're a person who cracks under pressure, either don't do it or find a partner who is 100% into it and is committed to doing it with you. And then the other thing is, the second thing is you have to be committed enough to look into all the insurance and figure out all the tax forms and all that kind of stuff, or have somebody who does it with you. Before you kind of start, you need to know how to do that. I was really lucky because the people at Wren in the Glen are the nicest people ever, and they already have done this 10 times. So you know what I mean? They're more than willing to share all of that with me, all the knowledge, and they even shared some of their volunteers and everything.
Awesome.
They're so sweet. So then the third thing, which is the most important of all of them, the second one is important because you got to cover your ass. You know what I mean? You got to make sure everything's okay and safe for people, and if somebody gets hurt, that they're going to be taken care of, and you have an emergency plan, etc. So the third thing that's more important than any of those is, on one level anyway, is that you have to understand how to dream and see it from the audience's perspective. So if you don't understand, if you're going to get so stressed out, and I do vacillate between them, I'm not saying you should never feel stressed. I'm just saying you have to be able to get back to that core of why you're doing it. And so, like, for instance, I just went and bought a whole bunch, or got from the library a bunch of fantasy novels and movies, so that when I'm stressed out and feeling overwhelmed, I can get back into that mindset. So what I use for it, and everybody has their own beliefs, but I do the law of attraction is my big thing. So I'm always thinking about, if I'm stressed out, then I think about something that doesn't stress me out about it. Like just the little, like the idea of the little kid's eyes lighting up. There's nothing about that that's stressful. You know what I mean? So, because if you're feeling stressful, then more stress is going to come, and it kind of builds into this horrible, like, vacuum of, pretty soon it's just too much and too overwhelming, and you give up.
It escalates.
Once you're good at it, yeah, I mean, everybody has that in a lot of parts of our life every day. But if you instead think about the part of it that's wonderful and beautiful and magical and just makes you happy, it might just be interesting or satisfying, any positive feeling. There's lots of them. Sometimes we forget that. But and then just hold it in your mind for at least like 17 seconds or so, and pretty soon your brain will start adding other positive things to it, and that's kind of basically the law of attraction. So I think about that little kid and how they were looking at me when they came up to me, with the big wings on, and they were just a little kid, so I must have looked huge to them, especially with the wings being so huge, and their eyes just got so big. It was so cute. And I'll sit there and think about that for quite a long time, a while, and then it'll be like, oh yeah, and well, Saskia and Corey are the people who own Run in the Glen, and they invited me over, and we just had the best time. So another thought will come that's positive about that and how great that was. And that just keeps snowballing. So that's the advice I would give, because it is a very stressful position, but it's so worth it. And if you're able to manage your own emotions and be able to manage your state of flow, I mean, that's a whole skill set. It's taken me years to get even here, and I don't feel like there's way more to go. There's always going to be more ways that I can grow in that. But that's, I think, really important. If you can't manage your emotions, please don't do it, because you're going to end up screaming at people and having a bad reputation and dropping the ball on things,
Yeah, that's not what you want to be known for.
No, that's icky.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, you don't have to have all the ideas. You need to just be a good listener and be enthusiastic about other people's ideas. So when people come to you with a cool idea, then you need to say, yes, that's such a good idea, even if you're not quite sure if it's a good idea, because there's always something in it that is good, and you can build on it. So you should say, yes, let's do that, and let's do this in addition to it. And yeah.
And that's good leadership.
That's good leadership.
Yeah.
But it is good leadership, like, but it's just practical. And it also is, how do I explain this? You're doing more than just getting some ideas from someone for a project that you're working on. You're like creating the whole right mindset for that person, and really creating a wonderful space for them to create. It's safe for them. You feel safe to them. And so they can really explore their own creativity in a deep way that is probably going to catapult into more and more projects in their lives in the future. Whereas if you're continually squelching them, you know what I mean? That doesn't help, like, the universe at large.
And they're going to feel more open to share ideas with you in the future.
For sure. Yeah. And just in general, like with me, but it doesn't have to be just for me. You know what I mean? It's for the world or whatever, I guess, and for them. Yeah.
That's really good insight.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. That's how I run it. And I've done events. They were mostly belly dance events, but I've done that for years and years and years now. Just the first ones I ran were just parties at my house out in the yard, and like 30 people would come, or 40 people, and we'd have this hilarious belly dance show, because we were like, most of us were beginners, or, you know, very beginner intermediate, and some of the stuff that happened was so funny. But we just had fun, and I love doing events, so that's where it started.
You gotta start somewhere.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wait for Trey because I don't know if he's about to ask a question or not.
Oh no, I'm sitting listening in awe. One thing I will ask is, we talk a lot about like inspiration and making things happen, and like speaking things out into the universe. So, what is something that you are speaking into the universe right now, or something that you are wanting to happen?
So when you begin speaking something out into the universe, you begin in a really general place. So my general thing is that I'm going to be able to do things like this, but it will be like peaceful, not boring peaceful, but I'll feel peaceful. I won't have swings of abject terror. That might be menopause too.
I'm gonna remember this phrase.
But like, so that being able to do it with a just calm, you know what I mean? And that not just like keeping myself under control, but truly feeling peaceful, and that happy, peaceful feeling. Kind of like that feeling like when you were a little kid and you were sitting and looking at the Christmas lights, and you knew that the next day was going to be, there would be presents under there, and the Christmas lights were pretty. And it was good enough to just look at the Christmas lights and know that all those good things were going to happen. That's what I'm kind of wanting for the event planning times. Like, I want to feel that way. So that's what I'm speaking out. It's really important to the words are not important. The emotions are important when you're trying to create things. Really. I know that seems opposite of what everybody says, but
no, it's yeah, it's absolutely true.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. It'll be better because you did keep that as a focus.
Right. Yep. And then also, I just want there to be more fun in my life. Like, I want it to be not stressful. Like, you should do a bunch of stuff. You should do this and that and get this done. And you should be a workaholic and everything else. I'd rather my life be centered around a little bit more around fun. And it seems really, to some people, that probably seems ridiculous. But whatever you're focusing the most on, that's what you get. So I'm going to try that. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Mm-hmm.
That is. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. No.
Now you
Emily.
have to.
Okay. That is such an incredibly insightful answer.
Well, thank you.
Start from a general place. Don't speak physical things, but speak from the emotions behind it and what you're seeking.
Mhm.
I thank you. That is incredible. Thank you.
Yeah. So general is the best. Like, I mean, not that you can never be specific, but only be specific if you can stay in that emotional place. You know what I mean? Because if I was
Mhm.
going to be like, I want to have fun by going to Hawaii this year and like somehow pulling out of my butt like $7,000 to do that, well, that makes you feel stressed. It's no longer fun to think about,
And it's
right?
dirty money now.
Yeah, then you're like all into all the whatever goo you have around money in your head that is probably not true. So if you're just like, I want to have more fun, just stay with that. What's fun? What's fun
Right.
right now in your life? Or you know what I mean? It might just be you it might just be like petting your cat is more fun than what I'm having right now. So let's go do that. Start very general. And then as like you focus on that more and art build up your brain's ability to focus on it, then it'll get more specific.
It's interesting because I had just recently read an article about how the average middle-aged woman, they had polled a bunch of middle-aged women and they were like, what do you like to do for fun? What do you do for fun? And so many women could not answer the question
Oh my god,
because they
yeah,
had
that's why I
lost,
started belly dancing, because of that exact reason.
completely lost that part of themselves, whether it was
Yep.
because of kids or career or life or hardship or trauma, whatever. They
Right.
had just, fun wasn't a part of the equation. And
Right.
they had asked middle-aged men the same thing, and they all had their golf or whatever,
Right.
they
It's time
things
to
they like
just
to
claim
do.
your own fun.
Mhm.
There's no
Yeah.
reason, like I was so far gone, but going back to this old story of when I was younger, I remember because I didn't watch movies, etc., or TV. And then for some reason, my ex we decided to get a TV. And I remember watching for the first time in years watching TV. And there was this lady, and it was like a reality show of some kind. And she was taking snorkeling lessons, and she was in this pool in a bikini, just having a blast. She was having so much fun in
Mhm.
learning how to snorkel. And I'm like, here I am surrounded by 3 kids. I've got 2 pairs of jeans and 4 shirts and one pair of sandals and a pair of regular shoes. That is my wardrobe. That's all I would allow myself. So there's any other people did dumb stuff in my life, but it was me that was holding myself back from all that. And because my life would have been very different if I had had a different mindset about it and would had different expectations. And
Mhm.
I just remember looking at that woman and thinking, it was just like she was from another planet. Like, why would you do that? Like, what about where's your kids and your husband? Isn't that, I know that sounds horrible, but that's how I was thinking at the
Totally
time.
get
And
it.
a lot of people think that way. Mm-hmm.
Totally. Yeah, I don't have kids, but I can relate to the mindset of not getting in my own way.
Yeah. Right.
You are almost always the thing that stands between you and whatever it is. And
Right.
for me,
And
it was
that
always
takes your
time.
power back from other people.
I'm sorry, say that again.
That takes your power back from other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
People don't want to feel like it's them that's standing in the way of themselves because they want to blame somebody else. And I'm not saying other people didn't do anything wrong in our lives, but they don't, you have the power to change it. They're not going to change it.
Yeah. For me, it was always time. I didn't go kayaking because I always had a dress to make, because I always had a costume to finish, because I always had a bathroom to clean or whatever. And
Right.
on my deathbed, I'm not going to be like, oh, thank God I got that bathroom clean.
Right. Nobody's going to care as long as there's not like mushrooms growing under the toilet or something.
Right. Yeah. Like, I'm so glad that I finished that dress on the day I wanted to, instead of going
Right.
frolicking in the forest or whatever it is I wanted to do and didn't allow the time. I was the one that put too much on my plate. I was the one that said yes when I should have said no.
Yep. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like, for me, it's embarrassing to admit that, but it's also freeing, because that means if it's your fault, then it means you can change it.
Mm-hmm.
That is powerful right there.
Mm-hmm. And also not beating yourself up. Yes, it was your decision, but it doesn't mean you have to judge yourself and beat yourself up about it. That doesn't help anything.
Agreed. Yeah, I mean, your fault in a non-blame game way. It's
yeah, maybe fault wasn't the right word for me to use.
Well, yeah, but I get it. I think our audience would too. It's not like you should get down on yourself for that. But owning it can change you.
Yeah. Exactly.
Speaking as somebody who's been a very much a homebody for a lot of my life, hearing you say something like that so honest and openly, and I have done more things in the past 6 weeks with Seth, because we both looked at each other and we went, we want to do something different. We want to do something together, and we want to do it together because we enjoy each other's company, and that's fueling us to want to go do these different things, which is why I'm going to Renfest, which is we want to go to Biltmore. We want to go do like,
Ooh.
I haven't been bowling in probably 2 years, and it's like, do you want to go bowling sometime? He's like, yeah, let's go bowling.
Yay!
We're gonna go to the Beckler. Anyway, long laundry list. Like, we actually have a Google Doc of all of our date night ideas, which is brilliant.
That's
by the way,
awesome.
Seth, you are brilliant. So it is. That is really just to echo everything that you've said so far, that you are the person that is holding you back. So if you want to go do it, do it.
Yeah, I would totally
Go
recommend
do
bucket
it.
lists. Like, write a list of everything that you might want to accomplish in your life, and you'll be really weirded out, because if you just write the list and put it in the back of your closet somewhere, and then when you clean your closet someday in 7 years, you pull it out and they'll be almost all gone. They'll be almost all done, because you took it. There's something weird about writing them down. I've done that many times and heard a lot of people say the same thing. And it's crazy.
And write the list as if you're still a kid.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not things you should do, things you want to do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go clean my bathroom. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No. Well, I'm not advocating having totally disgusting bathrooms, but
No.
I will say what I do is, like, if it makes me feel good to have the bathroom clean, like, there is a kind of a nice feeling to everything being nice for you.
Yes.
And you making it nice for yourself. And so I kind of lean into that for that. But I can't say it's always clean. I'm just saying, when I do clean it, that's how my mindset
There's
is.
a threshold of I can't stand it anymore. And
Yes.
But
It's
yeah.
like, this is not good for my mental health.
I've had to learn to let that go, because when I was in my young 20s, here's another one, cuz I worked for Mary Maids. And when you work for a maid service or a service where you clean, they teach you how chemicals work and why the chemical works on the certain thing to clean it the best, and what to use where. And when you learn those things, then you become like hyper aware of those things. I became like, now my life has to be super clean because I know how it works. And so everywhere I've lived, I know how to clean really well. So to me, I have to maintain that. I worked for a maid company. Like, I knew how to do it. It would be like shameful if I didn't keep that up in my own life. Somehow, it wasn't a conscious decision. It just happened. And I've had to learn to kind of let that go so that I can enjoy life. It's okay if there's a little extra cat hair around and the bathroom maybe can go an extra day because there's, because the Northern Lights might be out tonight, or because there's a thing down the road that I want to go see.
Absolutely. When my kids were little, my mom always advised me that. She said, it doesn't matter if your house is clean. They're only going to be this age for a little bit. So just don't worry about it,
Yeah.
So I kind of think that stuck with me. She's also an oil painter, and she took that up in her 50s.
Oh, cool.
40s and 50s. And so she's so passionate about it, and it's really cute to see her working on that. And I remember she would always, like, when I would call her on the phone, she'd be working on an oil painting, and I'd be like blabbing away about whatever was going on in my life, and she'd be like, and finally I'd be like, are you painting? She's like, yes.
That's great.
That was just the most important thing to her, and she is allowed to have that. She doesn't have to listen to me blabbing about my life. You know what I mean? And I think that's a really good example for her to set for me.
Well, and she could paint and listen at the same time.
Not really.
Oh, no. Oh, I see.
No.
I thought about that because while you were telling me, I was like, could I edit photos in Photoshop while I'm on the phone with somebody?
Well, and think about if you were like really in the flow state working, and you were just like in that other world, you couldn't hear anything that other person was saying. And that's what you want. So
yeah, there's even some music I can't listen to for that reason.
Yeah.
While I'm editing. I can other times, but not while I'm doing that. Yeah, I've gotten off the phone with people before because I was editing a photo and I just couldn't I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah.
That's funny. I'm sorry to anybody who's called me while I've been editing photos. I'm sure I heard most of it.
Hi, Kamala Harris. Yeah, we need to start up the fundraiser for those who have been affected by Emily Kramer's editing photos and talking to her in the following ways.
We'll have counselors on standby.
No. Amy, this has been an incredible evening. Thank you so much for being on the podcast with us tonight, and for sharing your truths, and for sharing your artistry, and for sharing the beautiful thing that you're wanting to bring to honestly all of the United States, because it's not just Wisconsin, it's everybody's invited to this event.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say thank you.
Well, thank you for reaching out. This has been so fun.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so glad you agreed to do it as last minute as it was.
Yeah, me too. It was.
Yeah, it was.
What a crazy week. I'm so sorry about my weirdness.
Not at all.
No.
Don't ever apologize for weirdness.
True.
We appreciate weirdness.
Yes. But Amy, before we go, we want to make sure that people are able to connect with you as much as possible. We've talked about boldoracle.com, but are there any other social medias or any other connection points that you would like people to know about?
Bold Oracle has a Facebook page, so you can look it up there.
Oh.
And
I'll post the link.
I think my big old face is right on there, so it's on all of the social media, so it's just easy to recognize or whatever.
Nope, it's your small face on this one.
I'm on and I'm on Instagram and TikTok and whatever. So whatever, if you have a question, just reach out.
And you are Bold Oracle on Instagram?
I think so, yeah, or Bold Oracle Studios.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I'll post that as well.
Perfect. Well,
it is Bold Oracle Studios.
Yeah. There we go.
Whenever I see the word or hear the word Oracle, I totally think of the Never-Ending Story.
Oh, yep, definitely. The Southern Oracle and the other one, I can't remember what the other one was called. Remember there were two.
One Oracle was the giant tortoise.
Oh, was he?
I thought so. And then the other one was the two winged statues.
Yep.
That was the Southern Oracle.
Yep. And she looked right into his soul or whatever.
Mm-hmm. That was such a good movie. And you know, back in please don't arrest me. Back in Napster days, they had so many remixes of the Never-Ending Story song. At one point, I had downloaded more than 30.
Wow.
Different remixes for the Never-Ending Story song. Most of them were like electronica or dance mixes, but
that's my favorite. I love the Never-Ending Story and the Dark Crystal and all that. They're all so good.
Anyway,
okay,
sorry.
I'm gonna admit another truth, and then I'm gonna do the announcements. I've never watched the Never-Ending Story all the way through, so we are pretty much now on every single.
Seth,
we are.
Help us.
We are pretty much now on every single podcast outlet available. We have moved into your home. We do love your food. I will get tomatoes thrown at me after this podcast ends, but you know that you love us. Thank you. If you would like to donate tomatoes to be thrown at me for not watching and not attending a Run Fest or not watching the Never-Ending Story, please email us at sendustreats@themodrom.com or email us at please sponsor us, we love you @themodrom.com. And what I imagine is going to be a future email address, throw tomatoes at Trey @themodrom.com.
I'm creating it right now.
Thank you so much to our moderators. We do say this, and I think I'm going to continue saying this every single episode. This episode, along with every single episode moving forward, is going to be in loving memory to our Joe Capone, our moderator, our fellow comedian, critic, encourager, and fantastic friend. You can listen for free wherever you listen, get, acquire, attain, Shaolin Showdown, Boot, Scoot, and Boogie, or download podcasts. For updates, announcements, and info on who our next guests are, please follow us on our social media. If you are joining us for the first time or for the 50th time, this is not the end of the podcast. At the end of our stream, we do like to go and raid another channel. Raiding is just taking our audience here through the magic of the internet and going support another artist on Twitch. One of our goals here on the Modern Romantic Podcast is to make sure that people know that Twitch is a place for everybody and a place for artists and creators, not just gamers. So with that in mind, you do not have to do anything. We will take care of everything on our side. But Emily, who are we rating tonight?
Tonight we're rating Vintage Watercolors, who is currently making paint.
Ooh, awesome.
Yeah. We like supporting other crafters in general. I just quit. And this is how we do it. Also, there was a toast to Caponis in the chat, and so therefore we must. To Caponis. Ban. We miss you, Cap.
We do.
Not gonna cry.
No.
Okay. I'm ready, by the way. Sorry. You were gonna say something.
Oh no, I was just gonna poorly sing the theme song to Never-Ending Story.
Do it!
Never-Ending Story!
What is that? That's like not even your head voice. It's like your eyebrow voice. It's like
I'm going to use that one in the future.
Hey, I did. Now, to preface, I did say poorly sing the never-ending story.
I missed
Tried
the
to
poorly
prepare
part.
it, but it didn't work. We weren't ready.
You know what? I'm still glad that I got to hear a little bit of it. So.
There you go. So apparently Seth and I are going to be watching Neverending Story on Friday, so we can remedy this situation.
This is the way. Yes. Thank you, Seth, for remedying this. I appreciate you. Trey will, if he doesn't already, appreciate you. And try not to cry at the part where Artax has an incident.
Oh God. All right. I'm
Just
already
have Kleenex
dreading
ready.
this.
Just have Kleenex ready. The raid is set. We've got 30, by the way.
Okay. And thank you, Amy, for being on tonight. Seth said, so thank you for bringing his evil secrets to life for me to remedy.
That's wonderful. Evil secrets.
Jeez. And I am getting roasted tonight.
Hey,
Okay.
I don't know if Kaz is still around, but we could have a roast night too. That's kind of mean, though. Maybe in a good way. Maybe we could just have guests do that. Like,
What,
then we're
have
not
guests
the
come
mean
on and
ones.
just like roast us alive?
We'll get Jerry Rocha back on here. He's a comedian. And Eddie Pence, you know, from the memorial.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
I think they would do a roast with us. That seems like totally another channel's thing. Oh, Kaz is here. Now I lost.
Cause we'll talk.
I forgot what I was saying to her now. Sorry. And we rated. It's over.
Okay.
I'm going to say, okay, so I don't know if you're familiar with Twitch, but when we rate a channel.
From somewhere. Oh my god!
Hold on. I just do want to say hello real quick because we like carried everybody over there.
I am never gonna get shit done. Welcome in, Modern Romantic. Hello.
Well, she's
sorry,
in
I
that
just wanted to say
honestly.
hi.
What were you up today?
No,
My name
Amy,
is Tira, or
honestly,
you can call me
that was
Vintage, or
that was
Vinny,
so much
and this
fun.
is my eco-friendly art shop. I'm getting ready to do a 2-minute.
There are a
quick
few times that I
sketch
feel
slash quick
honestly
painting
speechless
for someone that redeemed
after having
We're interrupting you. I'm interrupting myself. Okay, you didn't have to do anything. I'm interrupting myself. What was I gonna say? Oh, I make eco-friendly art supplies. A lot of them are going to be in these bottle caps. So I hand make the watercolors. I will be doing that right after I do this, so you guys will get to see the whole process. But I also do like dot cards, like this fun little dude for people to test out, and then I also just did a shop restock. So if you guys are interested in seeing what else I have, feel free to go check it out. Modern Romantic, where are you off to? Welcome in. Yeah, we were all doing it before you got here, 100%. Yes. I make eco-friendly watercolors, so you guys will get to see that here soon. Thank you.
Heart cheered. X1. Tazwo Sip.
Chazwo, that's cute. Hello.
Oh, Seth is going to come on
Okay,
Friday,
guys, I am
and
so sorry. I
he's
am
going to
going
whisper
to
something
ignore
in
you
my ear,
for 2
something to that
minutes.
effect.